how do we work with those that we lead? I think this is an inquiry that when we've asked many leaders, how do you work with those you lead? Some of the answers that come up is that, I feel I'm okay. To the best of my knowledge, I think I have been a good leader. And many other good, positive answers that leaders feel that they work okay with those that they lead. But when we flipped these questions and asked their team members, their followers, then some of the answers that have been coming in our engagement are like, my leader is not appreciative. My leader is pushy. My leader is not concerned. My leader does not create time for our personal engagement, and many others. And if you look at it, you find that both of, from a leader's perspective, they feel they're okay. But from a team perspective, there's an issue. And that's where now the aspect of engagement and productivity is being affected. And that's why we have many leaders leading teams, leading individuals, leading organizations that are not operating at optimal level because of the dysfunctional view of this question, because of the dysfunctional view of this inquiry. And if you look at what many followers and team members are portraying, is actually, it can be summed up with, it's an aspect of ego from a leadership perspective. And this is not a boastful ego. This is not an ego that will say that, no, I boast in front of people as a leader and tell them about who I am and so on. No, not necessarily that. But it's an ego behavior. Behaviors that are undermining the aspect of a connection with the team and undermining the aspect of engagement with the team. So the inquiry of how do you work with those you lead helps you to understand how do you shift from operating at a space of ego as a leader to operating at a space of appreciative, so that you can be able to build highly engaged and productive teams. Because for us as leaders, if you are to build highly engaged and productive teams, then that shift needs to be there. You must appreciate more. You must relieve yourself from the aspect of ego, based on the ego behaviors that are shared. That some of the teams actually shared when you engage with them, and you can actually be able to understand this by seeking feedback from your team members in terms of how do you work with them, how do you work with those that you lead. So I want to give you a quick exercise, and an exercise that we've been when we give leaders, they are amazed at the fact that they are not appreciative, but they're actually leading with ego. And I hope it will be able to spark something in you to start the change. So on a piece of paper, write the names of all the team members that are directly reporting to you. Of course, with your name on top, then below it, all the team members horizontal of the team members that are directly reporting to you. Then on each of the team members, reflect on your past week and write 5 things or 5 ways that you engage with those team members individually and appreciated them. So write those areas that you told them, I appreciate you for this fantastic job on these 5 things that you engaged and you actually appreciated each of your team members in the past week. And I want you to do this, that on the team members where you have all the 5 things and more, maybe just put a straight line directly into them. But on the team members that you have less than 3 or 3 and less, then put a dotted line to it. And if you reflect keenly, if you look at the team member that you are more appreciative, that you are more engaging with them, that you have actually listed more than 5, you realize that higher chances of that team member is highly engaged and productive. And the others are operating. They might be doing good, but they're not operating at their optimal level. But the problem is not them. The problem is us and how we relate with them, how we appreciate them. Because if we are not appreciating our team more, then we are actually leading them with ego. And it's not the ego of condemning, it's not the ego of autocracy, but it's the ego behaviors that are blocking our team members from becoming highly engaged and productive. And I dare say that if you look on the flip side in terms of the tasks that you've been giving these team members, you find out the tasks are even more than the appreciation that you've been giving them. And that's where the disconnect is. So I hope I've been able to challenge you to learn more about this. There's a book that I have written called Engaged and Productive. It talks about the 5 mind shifts in building highly engaged and productive teams. And this is from research. This is from my personal experience as a corporate leader and as a coach and a trainer, having trained many leaders. So watch out for the book. But if you want us to come and speak to your team or to your leaders about these engagers, if you want us to come and give a 5-week training, engagement and productivity training for your teams, get in touch with us. We'll be glad to share this knowledge to as many leaders and as many organizations as possible. So my name's Gilbert Angana. I'm the CEO of Ascent Leadership Group, and this is what we do to help organizations and leaders understand how to be able to drive highly engaged and productive teams. Thank you very much.